When I tell you 2018 and 2019 was the hardest years of my life and what completely rocked my world spiritually, physically, and emotionally, COVID hit. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Cicely Justine and I make videos about my sister-log's lifestyle and womanhood. So today we are getting real deep and personal. As y'all saw in my recent Memphis vlog, I just got rebaptized into Christ on May 13, 2023. And in that vlog, I really hesitated to go in details on why I made the decision to rebaptize. And the reason I hesitated was because I really wanted to make this video to, go deeper into the subject and to really explain my experience overall and my overall rationale on why I got rebaptized. Now there will be a part 2 to this video where I go into how I got into crystals and channeling my ancestors, but for this video I'm going into what led me to that point, and then in part 2 I'll talk about getting deeper into New Age. So once I make that part 2 video, I will post it in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get into it, y'all. So my story begins all the way back when I was a child. So ever since I was born, I basically grew up in the church. More specifically, I grew up in the Church of Christ denomination. We went to church every Sunday, including Sunday school and Wednesday night Bible class. Then when I was about 10 years old, I moved from Dallas, where I was, back to Memphis, where I was born. And I lived with my grandmother for a while until we got settled into the city. So while I was living with my grandmother, I had some behavioral problems. I had a smart mouth. I was talking back and this, that, and the third. But in the midst of my problems, I was still going to church every Sunday, going to Sunday school, and going to Bible class. And while I was going to church, I saw how good the other kids were behaving. And honestly, it inspired me to be better and to act like I finally had some sense. I even started to actually enjoy going to church. With my grandmother and my great-grandmother. I got involved with the youth group. We would go on youth trips to conferences and things like that. And during this time, I got really close to Christ. So I made the decision at 11 years old to get baptized. I wasn't forced. I wasn't coerced. Nobody had to convince me to do it. I honestly and truly just wanted to do it. And therefore, I did it. So from that point forward, all through middle school, high school, and even college, I was a Christian. I believed in Jesus Christ and I went to church. Now in college, I must admit that I didn't go to church as often as I should have, but I did go to church from time to time, and my faith in Christ never altered during college. It wasn't until I graduated college and life started to get real was when my Christianity started to shift. So in 2013, I graduated college and moved to Tampa, Florida to work in corporate America. Y'all, anyone who knows me knows that I hate corporate America. I hated going to work during this time, y'all. And I think the stress of going to work every day caused me to take a step back in my faith. And I'm just speaking honestly now. I was going to church here or there during this time, but my faith wasn't as strong as it needed to be. So fast forward a little bit to 2018, I got a promotion that caused me to move to Charlotte, North Carolina for a year. By this time I'm married. I have a 1-year-old, so I have a whole family to consider, not just myself. And it was a hard decision. But after all the pressure I was receiving from my job to move, I went on and decided to up and move there with my 1-year-old in Charlotte, and we left my husband behind in Tampa. So y'all, when I tell you 2018 and 2019 was the hardest years of my life, I was juggling work, taking care of a 1-year-old by myself, and I was away from my husband, and I wasn't around any family or friends. I just felt alone, like really alone. Like, I wasn't praying like I should have been. I felt stressed, weak. I just stopped going to church altogether. Like, I only went to church one time while I was in Charlotte, and honestly, I was just tired all the time, worn down, depressed, and I just couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I regretted moving to Charlotte, but I was stuck, or at least I felt like I was stuck, due to my job. And I felt like I didn't have anywhere to turn, even though God was right there with me the whole time. I just didn't acknowledge God, and I felt abandoned, like He had left me to basically rot in Charlotte all alone. And it was one of the lowest points of my life, y'all. And you know who was ready to take full advantage of my lowest point? The enemy. So one day, while I was really depressed and crying on the floor in Charlotte, a voice told me to get up. And at that time, it felt like it was God talking to me. Although to this day, I'm not really sure. But the voice told me to wipe my tears, get up, stop feeling sorry for myself. And so I got up off the floor, I sat on the couch, and I started scrolling through my phone. Then a video of a very popular influencer popped on my timeline from the Shade Room. Now, I talked about this person in my multi-level marketing video, which I'll leave in the description box, but I don't want to say her name because I don't want it to seem like I'm singling her out or that I'm associating her with my downfall and my faith in Christ. But anyway, I came across her video, and she was basically saying, are you feeling down and depressed and don't know what direction you want to go in life? Aren't you tired of feeling like this? Get up and do something about it. Fight back and stop letting life beat you up. And get up and start manifesting the life that you want. And start really taking control over your life. So this was like the first time I had heard of the term manifest. So I went down that rabbit hole. And I started looking up the word manifest and looking up YouTube videos and trying to figure out what it's about. So after looking it up, I was intrigued, and I started following this person's every move. Followed her on all platforms. I meditated with her every single day on the internet. I made a vision board and really started to try this manifesting thing and manifest the life that I wanted. And so at this point, I would say I started to shift from my faith in Christ. Like, I moved into putting more faith into myself. And now I'm not saying it's a bad thing to put more faith in yourself and your abilities, but what happened was I started to shift because I started to think I was self-made instead of being God-made. And let that like really sink in and think about this. Like, I started to think I was self-made instead of God-made. Like, that's really deep, and that's like a real slippery slope, especially when it comes to manifesting and your faith in God. So after about a month of following this influencer, I started taking better care of myself. I started working out. I stopped eating as much carbs. I stopped eating meat to become a vegan. Now, I'm not saying that in order to be healthy, you need to stop eating meat and carbs. I'm just simply sharing my story and what happened to me. So I became vegan. I worked out almost every day, meditated once or twice a day. And y'all, my life really started to transform. I started to feel good. I started looking good. And all of this kind of started to happen towards the end of my stay in Charlotte. So it's the end of my stay in Charlotte. And at this point in my life, I'm like, forget corporate America. My assignment in Charlotte is about to be complete. People want me to go back to Tampa and continue working, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to go back, y'all. I wanted to quit and create the life that I always wanted. So I started talking to family to get their advice on whether I should take a job to go back to Tampa or just quit, since I was fed up and I can just figure it out when I get to Tampa. So long story short, I was convinced to take a job assignment to get back to Tampa and stay in corporate America for now. But while I was in Tampa, I told myself that I wanted to hustle by any means necessary so that I could finally exit corporate America. That was my goal. That was my mindset. So I got back to Tampa, worked in corporate America. I started truly hustling. I joined a multi-level marketing company and started selling detox tea. On top of this, I joined yet another multi-level marketing company and started selling services like cable, electricity, home security, stuff like that. I started my first YouTube channel, Hip Hop Cardio with Cicely. And y'all, I just began to wear myself thin, juggling corporate America, 2 MLM companies, being a mom, being a wife, posting 2 videos a week on my YouTube channel. And I was just doing too much, but I wanted out of corporate America so bad. I wanted to manifest this different life so bad that I just kept going. And then out of nowhere, and what completely rocked my world spiritually, physically, and emotionally, COVID hit. So y'all, I'm gonna end this part 1 here because COVID and my last pregnancy really changed my life drastically. I started meddling with stuff. I started meddling with crystals, ancestor altars, and the whole 9 yards. And I can't put a lot of that in this video because it's a lot. So y'all check out my part 2. It'll be in the description once I post it. And I will see you all on the next video. Please comment what you think so far in this video. I'm just being raw, uncut, just letting it all out. And I want to know what y'all think. So let me know what y'all think. And I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.